Well, good afternoon. It's summertime again, short sleeves, and it's hot. I guess it's getting hot in Washington. And the news is all out about Obama and Clapper and Brennan and the like. And a lot of friends of mine, nothing's going to happen to them. No, no, no. And then if you turn on the news, it's then is this revengeful and this, that, and the other thing. And there's a former president and Obama and all the riffraff that's going around. And I was thinking about this, and we have to ask ourselves: is that who is above the law? That's I remember the last couple of years, who no one's above the law. And the big question is where the rubber meets the road, is who will be responsible to make sure that these people that did things wrong are held accountable, as they say. And when you think about it, there's a lot of people who have gone to prison for submitting voter fraud, 100 votes, 200 votes, sometimes even less. They'll go to jail for that. So you can imagine the impact that and those that were responsible for millions of votes. And those are political crimes. And when the Justice Department put their severe leather boots down on Citizen Trump, and he had to appear in court after court, being fingerprinted along with mugshots. They raided his home, into his bedroom, his wife's closet and underwear, and proudly displayed this stuff. And even the FBI, on their orders in that particular raid, had the authority to shoot to kill. And through it all, it was no one is above the law. And it all started, I think, with Tulsi Gabbard when she recently disclosed the information about what happened some time ago. Remember back in the election of 2016, when Hillary was a sure-in and she got sheared out. And Obama, according to the documents, called in John Brennan, the head of the CIA, and James Clapper, the director of national intelligence, and said, "What's going on with the election and the Russians?" And they, in common terms, I'm referring here, said, "There's nothing there. There's no Russian collusion. There's nothing this." And Obama was not accepted with that. He didn't like that. So he said he directed them to go back and find the evidence. An old Soviet head of the Soviet police once said to Stalin, "Show me the man and I'll show you a crime." And that's what they tried to do. They did, needless to say, in the Soviet Union. And that's what Clapper and Brennan went back to the 17 news agencies, and they said there was a collusion out there. And the American people, well, they believed the CIA and the National Intelligence and the 17 agencies. They can't be wrong, even though they were directed by the President of the United States to write these reports and with the evidence that pointing towards Trump, his family, his sons were involved in Russian collusion. And to many people to this day, they still think it's true. And so that it's a crime that was committed at that time. And the result was years of lies. And to this day, as I say, we're still having residual of it. And it strained the relationship of the United States with Russia. For the first 2 years, Trump couldn't even probably make a phone call without the news media coming out and saying that he's collusion with Putin. And it also affected his first 2 years as the president, the Trump administration. All it was the Brennan or the Mueller report that he wrote, it was $40 million. It ended up, Mueller even admitted that there was nothing there. And so we went through election fraud in 2020, and Joe Biden was elected. And so when Trump came in this time, there's a lot of feelings that Trump was wanted to do something, but everything was going to be revenge. And you can't do that in politics. After all, bygones are bygones, statute of limitations, this, that, the other thing. And so there's a fear out there that nothing's going to be happening, that Obama, all those, Hillary, they're all, because so far they haven't been held accountable. And there's even this problem with the Epstein's files not being released or whatever. But something good happened on the way to the lights coming on, you might say. And I'll have to take my hat off to Tulsi Gabbard, who is a former Democrat. She was elected to the House of Representatives. She was elected to a couple other offices from Hawaii. She even ran for president in 2020 on the Democratic side. So she has some political backbone. And in addition to that, she has a military background where she is one of the few women that I know that she spent 3 tours in combat zones. Iraq, I believe, and I think she was in Africa, and she was in Kuwait. And she went on to maintain an outstanding career. And she was actually in the medical end of the military. And as I said, she retired as a lieutenant colonel. And she was awarded a combat distinguished, I think it's like for the military, for the infantry, it's a combat infantry badge. But for the medics, it's a combat medical badge. And that's a highly rated and revered medal to be worn. And it's dedicated to the medics that to be awarded that, you have to be in combat with the enemy firing at you to be awarded that. So she is a distinguished combat veteran. And she's been given this assignment. And when she came out with her documents recently, she just didn't drop them on the desk and say, here they are. She defended them, and knowing what she was up against, the most powerful people in the world. And she is the one who's shining the light the brightest right now. And we'll see what happens. And she distinguished herself in combat. I know that. And she distinguished herself not by shooting at other people, but she did it by trying to save her fellow soldiers. And that is an outstanding characteristic, to do that. my own, our company medic, his name was Jerry Levy, was killed in Vietnam, and his whole existence was just to save lives, to save our lives. And he was written up in a magazine one time, and it said that they questioned him after he was pulling a soldier across the battlefield, across rice paddy, and when he got to the other side, the soldier was dead. And the reporter asked him, he said, well, why'd you drag this dead body across the, he's dead, why'd you drag his body across? And without hesitation, Jerry Levy said, because he's a GI, that's why. And I think Tulsi Gabbard has that same guts, where she did not hesitate risking her life for her fellow soldiers. She doesn't hesitate to expose the lies, the treason, whatever it is that's going on. She's standing tall, exposing it. And when I looked at her, I thought, Tulsi doesn't hide fear within herself. But by God, she exposes fears in others. And in Washington, right now, there's a lot of fear about what she's exposing. And I think that answers a lot of my questions about, will anything happen? If Tulsi Gabbard has anything to say about it, which she does and what she is doing, it will. As Paul Harvey would say, good day. And to Tulsi Gabbard, probably not watching, but man, I salute you.